Welcome to KSDtv, where we're successfully preparing all students for their futures. In today's show, we'll take a look at our district's #1 priority, the safety and security of our students. Plus, we'll visit Meadow Ridge Elementary's Career Fair and Kent Lake's Beyond High School Career Night. You'll get to meet some of KSD's newest National Board Certified teachers and also see some of our young performers from Neely O'Brien Elementary in portions of their recent play, The Jungle Book. Now here's the host of KSDtv, Dr. Edward Lee Vargas.
Thank you and welcome to this edition of KSDtv. On today's program, we'd like to begin by sharing with you the district's efforts to ensure safe and secure schools at all of our 41 school campuses. As superintendent, please know in the Kent School District, the safety and security of each and every one of our students and staff is and always has been our #1 priority. My co-host for today's show is the Chief of Police for the Kent Police Department, Ken Thomas. Welcome, Chief. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You know, 4 years ago, the Kent School District and the Kent Police Department came together in a partnership to develop a new school safety services model designed to greatly enhance our efforts in the district to ensure safe and secure learning environments. And Chief Thomas, who was a lieutenant at the time, worked very closely with us and was key in developing this distinctive model. And I must say that the model has been a huge success, so thank you, Chief Thomas, for helping make that happen and for our entire school community. For our viewing audience, the school safety services model is based on reinforcing high standards of behavior for students, high standards of training for our school safety officers, high standards of training for staff on emergency preparedness and responsiveness, and high standards for safety management, which includes a focus on developing healthy relationships with our students and providing them with mentoring and support. And when it comes to safety, we can never rest. The Kent School District is constantly monitoring our programs and policies to find ways to improve. And after the recent tragedies at other schools across the country, our district leadership has taken an even more in-depth look at our safety policies, our procedures, and resources. So here's where we are. First, we're constantly monitoring events on each of our 41 campuses using well-trained safety staff and the latest technologies available. Whether it is access control, video monitoring, or crisis responsive drills, we're always evaluating and improving our systems. Second, when it comes to safety, schools can't do it alone. We know we need to work together as a team. Our staff, our students, and our families are and must be critical participants in our prevention and response planning. We also need partners in our community, local law enforcement and first responders. Every school has a unique prevention and response plan that have been developed in coordination with both King County and Kent Police emergency responders and the Washington State Emergency Management Division. And third, for the past 4 years, our school safety services model has resulted in reductions in safety-related incidents so we can maintain our focus on student learning. By bringing local law enforcement onto our campuses to work hand in hand with our own well-trained safety staff, we develop positive relationships with our students and try to identify and address challenges before they become problems. Students who trust our safety process become part of it themselves as they develop pride in their schools, their classmates, and the communities. As a result of its success, the model will actually be presented at the National School Boards Conference in San Diego in April. It's been a great partnership, and Ken, it's great to have you with us here today.
Well, thank you, Dr. Vargas, and I am glad to be here. Speaking for the Kent Police Department and first responders and other police agencies throughout South King County, school safety is a primary focus for all of us.
Chief Thomas, what specifically can you tell concerned parents out there about how local law enforcement and the Kent School District work together to make our schools as safe as possible?
We have school resource officers in all of our high schools in the city limits, as well as the junior highs that feed into those high schools. I assign a commander, a command level person, to be essentially the chief of the Kent School District Safety Services Program, and that lends a high level leadership position from the police department overseeing the operation. There is a robust school safety services program in the Kent School District with a focus on relationships, a focus on mentoring and helping students rather than just enforcement only. As you and I have had many discussions over the years, students who feel safe learn better. And if through our safety services program we can create a nurturing learning environment, our students will be more successful. We have regular coordinated drills for whether it's natural disasters or other critical incidents that could occur, so there's great preparation. And then finally, there's great coordination and cooperation with the fire departments, emergency management, and other law enforcement in South King County with a true focus on safety of kids in the schools.
You know, Chief, I couldn't help but, as you were speaking, feel the pride in all of your team and the Kent School District safety team, doing everything every day to keep our kids safe. You know, one thing I'd like to let our viewers know about is a project that you and I have been working on, our new Kent Cops in Schools program. Chief, can you tell the viewers about this new program?
Yes, and boy, I really hope this program is successful. I believe it will. It really comes out of the terrible tragedy that we recently had in an elementary school on the East Coast. And as I looked at the literature, we do a great job of putting police officers in high schools and junior highs, but there is not a lot of presence in our elementary schools. So in looking at the literature, I found that some law enforcement agencies in Texas and in California started putting police officers in elementary schools. So we took a little bit from each one of those models, and our plan is to have police officers who work the street adopt an elementary school in their district. They will then go into those schools, get to meet the principal, the office staff, the students, and really learn the layout. And they'll stop by that school at least 2 days a week and hopefully more, but it fits in perfectly with our community policing model. And by adding those additional relationships, that an office staff or a principal might be more willing to talk to our officers. Hey, I think there's something suspicious here, maybe something a little out of place, where we can have an opportunity to proactively prevent violence rather than just focusing only on effective response after something bad happens.
Well, you know, when you called me a few months ago, I think it was over winter break, and proposed the idea, I mean, I was so excited, and I'm thrilled to actually see it come alive, and I know that our entire community, I mean, it's a win-win for everyone. You know, one of our biggest goals in the district is to ensure that we are effectively communicating with our community, especially during an emergency. Can you give us any suggestions for our parents in terms of what they should do if we ever have a community-wide emergency at one of our schools?
Yeah, boy, I sure hope we don't, but we need to be prepared in case it does happen. And I know the first instinct for any parent, and I'm a parent, if something happens at your child's school, you're going to want to go there and help them and protect them. And quite frankly, that's probably the worst thing that you can do. We need to keep the ability for those first responders to be able to respond quickly, take care of whatever the issue is, and then if people need medical aid, we can get those vehicles in and then out as quickly as possible. And if you respond to the scene, number one, you won't be able to get in anyway, and two, you'll only contribute to the problem by clogging up the streets. My recommendation is to get onto the school district's website, because as quickly as possible under any one of these emergencies, we're going to take the children out of those schools and take them to a predetermined safe location to be reunited with their parents. That information will be on the Kent School District website as quickly as they can get it there. So you're much better off for everybody involved to wait, get that information, and go where you truly can be needed.
Great advice. And what can our parents do at home that might help us keep kids safe at school?
Well, the police department school district partnership it's really around making our entire community safe. If we are all engaged, if our parents are engaged with their children's education, their children's behaviors, their what their children are up to, it can only contribute to everybody's safety and success. Talk to your kids and encourage them, hey, if you see the police officers at school or anywhere else, they're there to help you. If you see something suspicious, something that doesn't seem right, talk to the police officer, talk to the teacher, talk to the safety officer, and get that information out. Know what's going on with your kids. Know what your kids are taking to school. Know what's in their backpack.
Yeah.
It takes all of us to be engaged to help our community be safe.
Chief Thomas, more great advice. One thing I want to emphasize to our audience is that the type of situations we're talking about and saw recently on the national news are incredibly rare. But still, we have to be prepared and we have to practice for every situation. Our goal has to be to prevent these issues from happening in the Kent School District, but our responsibility is to be ready if they ever do. Let's switch gears here and take a look at a situation that is rare, but for those of us living in the beautiful Northwest, it's just part of the package. Let's look at how we are preparing for the chance that an earthquake might impact our schools. Viewers, you might remember that in February of 2001, the Nisqually earthquake caused over $1 million of damage in our school district. Thankfully, no one was injured, but we have to be ready for everything. So I've asked Dylan Smith, the assistant principal here at Northwood Middle School, the home of our virtual TV studio, to tell us more about how we prepare for earthquakes and fires or evacuation emergencies.
So at an earthquake drill, what students will hear is an announcement over the loudspeaker announcing that it's a drill taking place, and they'll be asked to drop, cover, and hold in the classroom. The idea is that in a real earthquake with the ground shaking, you want to drop first before you're knocked to the ground. You take cover underneath a desk or a sturdy table, and you want to hold on to that structure so that if debris falls from the ceiling, you're not hit with that debris. In an earthquake drill, you then wait in that position until the shaking is stopped and you get an all clear announced over the loudspeaker. You don't want to leave until there's an all clear because there could be damage to the building and it might not be safe to exit. Once you get the all clear, students and their teachers will exit the building and head down to the school's track where they'll line up by class and they'll be accounted for. We make sure that every student is accounted for and that everyone is out of the building. During a fire drill, the goal is to quickly and efficiently evacuate a building. You'll hear a loud bell ring, and that will be accompanied by a strobe light. That will tell you that there's a fire or a fire drill taking place. You'll also see that special doors on magnets will automatically close, and those fire doors will close to stop smoke and fire from passing through a building quickly. Once the students hear that bell ring, a teacher will grab an emergency supply bag and head out with their class out the side exits of the building, and at Northwood, they line up by their class number out in the parking lot. Students they line up with their teacher, all of those students are accounted for, and then that is radioed to our principal so that she can give the all clear to make sure that students have safely left the building. We make sure that all students have left the building, and we also focus on the amount of time that it takes, and we send that information back to the district to make sure that we're doing our jobs correctly.
Thank you, Dylan, for the overview of our earthquake fire drill procedures. These procedures are repeated at each of our 41 schools all across our district throughout the year. And I want to remind everyone that when it comes to safety, we are all responsible to be prepared ourselves and, if necessary, to be ready to help others through an emergency. We're all in this together. Every teacher, bus driver, food service, or office worker, all of us have to always keep our kids' safety as our top priority. Parents, you need to let your principals know too when you see something that causes you any concern about student safety. And students, please remember that we count on you to pay attention to emergency procedures and let your teachers know if you see or hear anything that might create danger in our schools. We can't stop earthquakes from happening, and in a district this size, we can't be sure that every person in every situation will always do the right thing. But we can be ready, we can be watchful, and we can be helpful when difficult situations arise. Chief Thomas, thanks again for all you, your officers, and the other law enforcement agencies and first responders that you represent do to keep our schools and our communities safe. And thanks for being with us today on KSDtv. It's been great to have you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let's turn the page now to some other news in the Kent School District. I want to recognize 16 of our Kent School District teachers who received certification this year by the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards. You know, being a National Board certified teacher is one of the highest honors an educator can achieve. Here's Dr. Sharon Williams, our District Director of Program and Professional Development, and some of our new National Board Certified teachers.
Research shows that candidates demonstrate significant improvement in their teaching practices. Teachers who receive certification have been assessed against the nation's highest advanced teaching standards. The 2008 congressionally mandated National Research Council report documents that students taught by National Board Certified teachers make higher gains on achievement tests than students taught by non-certified teachers. In a 2007 study, 80% of National Board Certified teachers say other educators look to them for leadership, mentoring, and coaching. Many MBCTs positively impact curricular decisions, chair departments, and serve as faculty voices to policymakers and other stakeholders. Certification provides routes for MBCTs to advance as master teachers, school leaders, and mentors without leaving the classroom.
One really important aspect of the National Board process is in the lessons, they really want to see student interaction. And that's not easy, and it doesn't really matter what you teach and how old your students are. Getting them to interact really purposefully is a great challenge, but I feel like I am so much better at it now. It's always kind of my first thought going into a lesson. How much can the students be involved with one another as they're learning, rather than just me leading everything?
Yeah, it really pushed me to dig deeper into my practices. And for example, with my Entry 2, it was the focus was on total participation in the classroom, and I developed new methods to make sure that all students were participating using a colored card system, so that if a student disagreed, they held up a red card. If they agreed, they held up a green card. If they wanted to challenge the premise of my question, they held up a blue card, and it allowed all students to participate. Even if it's non-verbally, they're still showing understanding of the question, and they're still engaging in the questions in meaningful ways.
It's a commitment of your time. You need to have support from your families, and you need to have support from your peers. If you have those things, then you can be successful too.
I think it was an amazing process for myself and for my students as well. They actually watched videos of themselves and got to analyze their own behavior and thinking on tape, and they learned from it, and it made me to be a better teacher.
I always said I was a pretty good teacher, but this really makes you think about everything you do and why you do it. So, very rewarding.
Congratulations to all the new National Board Certified teachers from the Kent School District. You've worked hard, you've earned it, and welcome to the club.
Once again, congratulations to all of our National Board Certified teachers. Now, before we close, let's see what Meadow Ridge Elementary is doing to prepare elementary students for their future.
As they enter or think about going to middle school and they have exposure to music classes or art or technology classes, they can think about what those classes can do for them later on.
We have all kinds of professionals here. We have veterinarians and dentists and people from the public sector, people from the school district. It's a nice cross-section of some of the job possibilities available for our students.
And they get to talk with our presenters in small groups so they can ask them questions.
Our major question is, how does reading, writing, science, and math relate to your job that you do? So we want them to be inspired about what they can do later versus, why do I need to learn this?
They're just really excited about who's here and like I said, they're getting their eyes open just to see what's available.
What we try to communicate is the value of education and how math trains your brain to be very nimble, and how those are important. How developing good social skills and learning to interact with others are going to help you in any given profession.
The kids are very excited. They're open, they're asking questions, they're very engaged. They're interested in what we use our skills for on a daily basis to help the district function. And they're asking a lot about, are there openings in your department? Are there things that we could be doing in that field?
What I was talking to the kids today about is the different parts of school that are important. how you have to be able to read music, not only music, but your special charts that you make, how much math is actually involved in what we do, and how to deal with the technology.
The students are really interested in the firefighting career, but we also talk about why it's important for them to keep working hard in school and that there are good careers out there and there's a need for them as well.
I saw a different kid, they speak different language, they told me, and they say, oh, maybe I can do that. And I say, yeah, you can do it.
We want them to feel excited about the world of work, what there is as far as career opportunity for them.
This is a real life experience for them to remember.
We are helping our students prepare for the future, and this is one way that we're doing it.
What a great event.
Fantastic.
Meadow Ridge has been doing this every year now, and what a great way to get our elementary students to really start thinking about their future. And speaking of future, Kent Lake High School's Beyond High School Career Night really prepares students for their future. Let's take a look.
On January 6th, the Kent School District, in partnership with Tahoma High School, held the annual Beyond High School event at Kent Lake High School. Parents and students got the chance to explore college and career options at 2- and 4-year colleges and universities, technical schools, apprenticeships, and military academies, as well as gather information on financial aid and college planning. Representatives from close to 100 institutions attended, helping students prepare for their future.
We're absolutely preparing students for their future by giving them access to colleges, tech schools, universities. The opportunities for kids are enormous and substantial, and the sooner they think about what's possible, the sooner they can make plans for their futures.
We have people from all over the place here to share their programs with students and families so that kids can make decisions about what they want to do next. There are 96 different booths here tonight. I've seen a lot of traffic at most of the booths that I've walked by, so I think that people are getting their questions answered by the representatives that are here, so they're getting the information that they need.
Well, this is a wonderful opportunity for all the students. I hope that they actually take advantage of this opportunity and realize what a great asset they have here at this school.
I think they're doing an awesome job. I never got a career fair when I was in high school, so I think this is amazing to be able to see all of these booths and get the whole experience and really be able to see what they have out there.
I think it's pretty great too. It's nice to see all the colleges in the area and actually get to visually see what we can major in.
I really think it's very important to get started on it right now because they need to be set out in a direction.
I feel like this is a great event because it's helping me prepare for my future by showing me what I should work towards and figure out what I need to get to.
They're really interested in all of the booths and finding out, what will fit them.
It's a lot of fun. Just seeing a lot of different individuals and being able to talk to everybody.
It's been really, really good. You guys have some really cool students here, so we've had a lot of fun coming.
Very successful event. I'll definitely come back.
I'm really glad I came. This is an awesome event. Come next year.
It's a wonderful opportunity. I can't believe how many good colleges are here, how many opportunities are available. I don't think you could do much better than this.
Don't miss out on next year's Beyond High School event, where you can check out opportunities after high school and truly prepare yourself for your future.
Wow, another great event and a great program.
Good job, Kent Lake High School, for inviting all students to this annual event, and good luck to all of our upcoming graduates this year. This brings us to the close of this episode of KSDtv, and our final video today is a quick peek at portions of Neely O'Brien Elementary's 5th and 6th grade students' Jungle Book play, which won rave reviews around this great district, filled with great students, great teachers, and great schools. I'm Superintendent Vargas, and I want to thank you for joining us today on this episode of KSDtv.